Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and it is July 6, 2020. Here in the United States, we have just celebrated the 4th of July. So today I want to talk about how we choose our story, what that means in talking about choosing between fear and love. And we're also going to do a grounding and balancing exercise. So let's get started. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining me. And please, type in who you are, where you're, well, I can see who you are there, but where you're joining us from. And any questions you might have. Today, I'll be taking questions for quick live readings. But as we get started today, let's jump right into it. Again, my name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist, and I'm based in Seattle, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. And this is Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. Every week, I try to come together here with you to talk about how we might live better lives with our own selves, right? With our family, and especially those of you like me who live with animals and exclusively with animals. How do we create a better society? What that means, and what are the things that pop us up for us? What are the things that help us and maybe even set us back? So, hello, Carol and Patricia, and thanks for joining us. So, to get started today, let's do a quick grounding and balancing exercise because, boy, we all need that, right? So, if you take a deep breath, breathe straight into your solar plexus, and as you exhale, just release everything. Just get yourself here and grounded in this space with us today. And then take your attention to the top of your head. And we're going to breathe down our body from head to toe and then back again. And just as you do that, imagine an energy line running down your body from head to toe and back up again. And you can do this every day to get yourself grounded and balanced, to clear out the blocks, to help you just get settled in our unsettling world as it currently is. Take your attention to the top of your head. Just imagine that energy line running down your face, your neck, shoulders, chest, hips, knees, and feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And then back up again from your feet, past your knees, hips, chest, shoulders, face, and the top of your head. And again, as you do that, imagine that energy line running down and back up again. And you'll feel the release. You'll know it, right? And examine that in the way that your intuition works most strongly. So, New York City, huh? Good for you. So, let me talk a few minutes about how we choose our story. So, we're all moving through a new world together. The pandemic has forced changes on us. And that's forced us to stop and think about how we want to live. And I know it has, even for me, I live alone with a dog and a cat. And I've thought a lot in the last few months about what I want in my life moving forward. I've been single many years, and but I have friends, and you can see them, and you can go out. But if you're like me, you haven't hugged anybody since like the first week in March, and it's very isolating. And they're starting to talk about what the effects of that might be in terms of things like PTSD moving forward. And it made me stop and think about how we choose our story, how we choose how we view ourselves and our place in the world. And these days, it's kind of hard to find answers. Hi, Ann. Thanks for chiming in. These days, it's hard to find answers because everywhere we turn, there's something to be afraid of. It's the pandemic, or people demonstrating, and maybe people taking advantage of that and breaking into stores, or it's summertime and it's extremely hot, or it's a holiday and we want to be with our families, and just it goes on, and we tend to get into the attitude of less than. It's all less than I want. It's all not what I want. It's different than what we want. And really, when we look at it, the world is changing in a very big way. And we can look at that in several ways. We can look at that as, well, everything is going to, that old phrase, hell in a handbasket. Or we could say, well, here we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to make a difference in our lives, in the lives of the people around us, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in the world itself. So, what keeps us from making change? Well, we've all been so busy, right? We're busy earning a living, we're busy doing all this and that. And I'm not downplaying the really, really tough times that people have had, because it has been hard, especially for those people who are healthcare providers, essential workers, couldn't stay home. But even for those who did and have to stay home and stay away from family and friends, we're busy, but we're also having an opportunity to think and to choose, right? And to choose who we are. And again, here at this time, it's the same old question. We're choosing between love and fear, right? We're choosing how to respond to the world. And I have found this really very interesting in the last number of months. There are a lot of people who call themselves professional intuitives, like I do, for example, who say, it's a catch-all phrase. It's tough. It's like, what does that mean? And I see a lot of them really demonstrating who they really are as people who live in fear. They're the ones who have turned to conspiracy theories. They're the ones who refuse to think through an issue, who say, well, you're infringing on my rights, my rights to do what? And the world over, people like I've had people say to me, I've stayed in long enough. This has gone on long enough, and I'm done with it. And it's like, you're not the one in charge. We're not the ones in charge right now. The virus is in charge. And we're relying on our government to help us, but we also have to rely on ourselves and our own common sense, which pulls us back to choosing between love and fear. The people who are pushing conspiracy theories, things that aren't true, and demanding that it's true, they're responding with fear. They're pulling back. They're holding themselves away from growth potential, right? They're holding themselves away from love. And so I'm here today to ask you not to do that for yourself, to choose love. And in choosing love, the story that you choose is growth and opportunity. So my work is really about people choosing love. Whether I work as a medium helping people to connect with their dead, or I do personal and business intuition, or I help people connect with their animals. We do past life regressions, we do soul clearing, energy healing, but it's all about love. And it can be deeply moving and transformational, but we have to choose that answer. We have to choose our own story. So love is something that I used to like, ugh, what does that mean? And the reality is that love is something that we're always moving forward towards. Love is what our souls are doing in each lifetime. In this particular lifetime, we're talking about our souls evolving as humans. It's a very, very difficult thing to choose a human lifetime. Humans are innately curious, but also untrusting, so to speak. Everything has to be proven to us, and we have to wade through all of these obstacles. And it's harder for us to choose love. I watch my animals over the years just walking into love with no problem. And I think, how do they do that? And it isn't because their lives are simpler, it's that they're closer to their souls. And their souls are really telling them the truth, that they are choosing love in that particular incarnation. And I can tell you from working with the dead that choosing love is the most important thing we will ever do. If we don't choose it now, we have to choose it after we die. And if we don't keep moving forward. It's that simple. It's not because of punishment. It's because we don't trust ourselves. So, here today I'm talking about choosing love in a very difficult world that we're living in right now. But love is what grows. Love is what carries us forward. And love is what makes a difference. And if we're looking at the world as a cooperative of equals, right? Of all life being equal, of everything having consciousness, a soul, a job to do, responsibility, opinions, free choice, then we're living in a very fascinating world, and a world where love is really on demonstration every day, all day long. So, as we look at how to choose love in our lives, I want to go back and just give you a few tips on. Last week I talked about mind, body, and spirit. And again, this week I want to talk a lot more about spirit, because what we're seeing here in the United States is people turning away from the things that our elected officials who are out there doing the right thing are saying, like stay home, wear a mask, do all the things that keep the virus from spreading. New York, you people have had a really hard time, and yet you're trying to do the right thing, and we all are. And we're seeing, well, not all of us, because there's some places that won't just say, hey, this is real, take it seriously. But what we can all do during this time, and at any time, because the virus will be over at some point, is develop great energy boundaries. To remember that our bodies are covered with an energy body that responds to the influence of the world around us. So it helps us explore the world as the world explores us. And developing a good solid energy boundary around your body is a way for you to really learn how to choose between love and fear. So, fear in our United States right now, but even around the world, is my rights are being violated. I'm not going to wear a mask. Or I don't believe the virus is real. Or I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to obey this directive. Or I'm going to do this because I'm tired of the virus. Or I can't go to work. I need food. All of these things. And we're responding with fear. And love responds by saying, we're in it together, right? How do we help each other? How do we protect each other? How do we protect ourselves? And how does love drift up through the atmosphere around us and bring us back together as one group? And last, and I'm, if anybody has any questions here today, or Wayne, oh, I didn't scroll down. Wayne Peterson, Oregon Coast. Oh, Wayne, I'm so jealous. I grew up going to Lincoln City and Depot Bay and Newport, and of course adore Cannon Beach. So hi again from Oregon. Hi everyone. Yes, Patricia, you're right. Life is very isolated right now. I've had like coffee dates with friends, or I run into people on the street. Lexi, yes, opportunities to reshape the narrative we've been living. Right, time to focus on what we want, true, pros and cons, but time to focus on who we are and who we want to be. And I've dealt with this recently because I know the world will change in the fall dramatically, and we all have a role in that. And it'll be our chance to choose again. Um, so it's interesting to see where we are together. So Lexi, the main downside is the way people have become so divided and divisive when talking to each other. Um, Thinking it's one side or the other. And Alexi, that's a beautiful statement, and it is true. And I see this everywhere. I see it with my close friends. I see it on the news every day. And this is where we've lost touch. And I think this is where our elected officials need to say, it's beyond wearing a mask. It's how do we help each other? And there were times when I too have felt in despair of all of that. And then I saw a news piece on, I think it's called Farmland, where a group of young people got together and found, they heard about all the food being wasted because the farmers couldn't get it to market and blah, blah, blah. And they went in and they got 3.5 million meals for people. They coordinated all the food and they distributed it all over. And it just made me realize that you can sit back and do nothing. You can send positive energy into the world. Or if you're young and healthy like these kids, you can go out and try to solve the problem of people being hungry. So we are in it together and we are doing the best we can. Good morning to you too, Leslie. How will the world change in the fall? We'll find out, right? We'll talk more about that in coming days. So here for today, let's talk about what your soul wants you to know, right? What does your soul want you to know in this time? In this time that we haven't experienced, this is really a world changing event that we're living through, and we can make a difference. But what does our soul want us to know about that? And again, I come back to choosing our story, to choosing between love and fear, to choose to help where we can, to choose to really be resilient, to stay in, to stay away from crowds, to know that celebrating and partying and spreading the possibility of this virus is not an option. I live in Seattle, Washington, and they just talked about a major outbreak at fraternity here at the University of Washington campus. Everyone. I don't know why anyone ever said only older people could get this virus. A virus does not discriminate between age. It discriminates, based on who it can get to first, right? So I want you to think over the coming days and drop me a note if you'd like. What does it mean to you to choose between love and fear, and how are we doing that? If you're pulling away from people, saying, I don't believe the facts, I don't believe what science is telling us, I believe that this is all created by all these conspiracy theories I won't even name because they're so ridiculous. Um, you're choosing fear. And by choosing love, we're working to find a cure, to move forward into the new world that's coming. We're choosing to expand beyond our limitations. We're choosing to let love inform our lives, mind, body, and spirit. And one thing you can do with that is the crystal columbite. This particular piece is shaped like an opening rose. Columbite is pretty hard to find right now, but you could also look for tektite. A lot of people like black tourmaline. I don't really resonate with black tourmaline, but there's also obsidian, jet, um, onyx, black crystals. But my particular favorite is this piece of columbite, extremely strong grounding and protection. And I really like crystals. They're there as a physical reminder of my choice to live in the world as who and what I am and how I operate, and to keep you well grounded. So if you're feeling afraid, if you're and it's normal. People who've been sick, or people who've been caught up in protest and hurt accidentally or on purpose. People who've been affected by all the change in the world, from the kids being out of school to loss of jobs. Getting grounded and balanced, that exercise that I taught you, from the head down to the feet and back up again, all of that will help you stay balanced and grounded as we go through this. Patricia, okay, so here's a question and then we'll end for today. How does an empath best deal with the negativity, since it's even harder? Patricia, great question, and it's all about energy boundaries. Okay, my problem with people using the word empath is that people feel it as a negative. People feel that that particular intuitive skill set is somehow weighing them down, when in reality it's energy boundaries. So there are four main ways our intuition works. We work by seeing pictures, by hearing things talking with us, by feeling feelings and emotions, or by knowing things. And so what empaths are people whose intuition runs towards feelings and emotions. So ask yourself first, is what I'm feeling me or something else? And then work on your energy boundaries. My crystal partner, Fallon, the citrine Lemurian quartz, and I work a lot with people on their individual energy boundaries. And I can tell you, every single person's energy boundary is different, right? And it's because we're born with that energy body, and the boundary around it is the boundary, but we're born with an energy body that really basically encompasses our body, but we don't know it's there. We haven't been taught it's there. So we haven't taken care of it. We haven't given it a shower. We haven't, brushed its teeth. We haven't done anything that we should do with another body, right? It's sentient like we are. So invite your energy body to be as close to you as it needs to be to offer protection and support, but also far enough away so that you can explore the world around you. So, Patricia, as don't call yourself an empath, call yourself a person whose intuition runs towards feelings. And when the negativity comes in, you go, just observe it, acknowledge it, say, okay, I see that negative energy here vibrating, and I'm here vibrating. I don't need to go touch it. I don't need it to come into me. I can simply acknowledge it. Say, yes, I acknowledge that there's this negative vibe around me, that there's this fear around me. I can see it, but I don't have to bring it into me. So I hope that helps. Um, and you can also contact me for a quick session, but I hope that helps. And grounding crystals, when I started working, and a large part of my work is work nobody pays me for. I work with the planet. I'm an ambassador to the planet, so to speak. I work with weather and land systems. I've been doing that most of my life. And I was just thinking yesterday about how I even got into that, um, and realizing that these are some of these things we're born to. But what I did is, and since I tap into all four of those abilities, Patricia, I can tell you for sure that putting things around you in your environment that remind you to stay grounded and balanced will help. And that's one reason why I have crystals, also because I love them. Also, why I have lavender, which is really good for grounding and balancing. Himalayan salt lamps, right? Put sea salt around your house. It could be any salt, but I like coarse ground Himalayan sea salt because it's beautiful. A handful in the different rooms around your house. Even for a long time, I wore a Himalayan salt pendant, which took all the color off all my shirts. it gets it gets damp or on a hot day or something like that, and it starts to melt, and then that salt takes away your color. So try all of those techniques, but remember that being a person whose intuition runs towards feelings is a tremendous boost in life. It will help you understand other people as well as yourself. So look at it as I'm understanding who I am here, who these people are here, but I don't need to absorb the energies of that. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. I will be back next Monday at the same time and answering questions if I can. And I am right now teaching a free online mentoring class. It's every Monday at noon, so it starts in just about half an hour, and this week is week 3. Teaching people how to use their intuition every day as a real thing and not as this woo-woo thing that, is anything but practical. Your intuition and your healing abilities are all innate. We're all born with them. They're all practical skills. If you'd like to join, you can contact me at my Facebook page, The Practical Intuitive, Robin M. Fritz. I'll send you the link for the first 2 classes and try to get you into today's class. It's a Zoom class. But thank you for joining me today. Go out and choose your story, choose love. It is a real thing. It is the thing that will help keep you balanced and grounded, keep you moving forward. Our souls are always moving toward love, always taking the experiences we have and trying to filter them into a way that helps us understand love on a deeper level. It isn't always easy, but it is always worthwhile. Thank you for joining me. See you next week. Take care.